Good evening, everyone. Mike Palmer from Know Your Rights Group and Success Coaching International with another very important live video update tonight. So first and foremost, before I get into the crux of tonight's video, I hope you did all enjoy a very Merry Christmas. I hope you all got to spend some quality time with friends and family. And I really just wanted to touch base quickly tonight, just with everybody before the end of the year, just to give you a couple of very important updates that I want people to focus on as we move into 2026. So first and foremost, one of the biggest stories of the past week has been the growing backlash against Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, especially or specifically in the wake of the Bondi shooting incident. Now, we obviously spoke about that on our very last radio show for the year, and I also covered that on my last video update as well. But since that last update, there has been an absolutely huge surge in the number of people actually making the effort to sign a petition calling on Albo to actually resign. Now, the petition has been doing the rounds for a couple of weeks now on social media, but just in case you missed it, here are the details. So this is what you want to look for. It is on change.org, and it is called Call for Resignation of Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. And this is what it says. The issue: in light of recent tragic events at Bondi Beach and pressing national concerns, it is time to address the leadership of our country. The shocking mass shooting at Bondi Beach, which claimed numerous innocent lives, is yet another reminder of the urgent action required to safeguard our communities. Equally concerning is the ongoing mass migration, a shift that surveys and polls consistently show is opposed by a significant portion of the Australian population. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese took office with the promise of steering Australia towards a safer and more prosperous future for all. However, many Australians now feel that promise has not been kept. Policies that do not align with the public stance on immigration highlights a disconnect between the government and the people it serves. Australia prides itself on being a democracy where the voice of the people guides the nation's direction. When leadership does not reflect the will and concerns of its citizens, it is only right to demand change. The time has come for Prime Minister Anthony Albanese to step down, paving the way for new leadership that genuinely reflects the desires and needs of the Australian populace. We are calling for responsible governance that prioritises the safety and agreement of its citizens. Clear and actionable policies. We need a better screening policy for the people whom we bring into this country to keep Australians safe. By signing this petition, you stand in solidarity with Australians who believe in responsible leadership, who care deeply about the safety of our communities, and desire policies that are truly representative of the people's will. Let's unite for a future where our voices shape the nation rather than be overshadowed. Let us call for Anthony Albanese's resignation and the dawn of a new era of leadership. So the best news is that at the time of preparing these notes for tonight's video, as you can see there were over 360,000 signatures. Okay, so that is fantastic that many people have gotten on board in such a short time. Now, I do want to make it clear, okay, this is not an official government petition, so it has no actual legal parliamentary effect, but it does have people power behind it, okay? And as we've seen time and time again, okay, people power can be truly effective. All we need to do is look at the complete failure of the Voice to Parliament referendum, as well as the push to get everybody to sign up for the Director ID. Now, the media is already reporting on this petition, so I would urge everyone to please make sure you take just a few seconds, that's all it takes, to add your details, and with enough signatures, even if Albo doesn't step down voluntarily, the Labor Party might realise that they simply cannot win the next election with him in charge, and they will oust him themselves. So as always, there will be a link to that petition going up in the comment section if you're watching this on Facebook, or of course we will put it into the description if you're watching it on our other social media platforms as well. Now, The beauty is that things got even worse for Albo over Christmas because he was actually asked to explain the footage of him at a pro-Palestine rally early in his political career. Now, if you want to have a look at that article, here is the title. Again, I know that the video footage has been doing the rounds a number of times already, but this article is entitled "Albo's Christmas Interview Turned Sour After He's Quizzed on Viral Footage." Anthony Albanese has sparred with a radio host while facing questions about the Australian military and his past appearance at an anti-Israel rally. The Prime Minister was being interviewed by Susie Elman on 2GB on Christmas Day when the conversation turned sour. The interview, which took place while Mr Albanese was at a lunch put on for the homeless in Sydney, was cut short by the Prime Minister. There's footage going around of what looks like you on a microphone at an anti-Israeli rally. Is that fake news? Is that you or a doppelganger? Elman asked. Mr Albanese said he had not seen the footage and had no idea what the radio host was talking about. Really? Well, that's interesting, Anthony, because the rest of Australia knows, because it's been doing the rounds everywhere. I find it very hard to believe that you've got no idea what she's referring to. It appears as though she was asking about the footage that's been posted online of Mr Albanese at a rally in Martin Place earlier in his parliamentary career. Mr Albanese is speaking into a megaphone at the rally, standing next to a banner that reads, "Stop the Israeli slaughter, free Palestine now." Mr Albanese ended the interview there, with Mr Elman then telling listeners that they would likely be the last time she would get the chance to speak to Mr Albanese on Christmas Day. "I think I've not made the Prime Minister have a very Merry Christmas, but then again, that wasn't my intention," she said. So it is great to see the media is finally calling these people out and holding them to some sort of account, or at least asking them some of the difficult questions. So, speaking of difficult questions, if you are sitting here watching this video and you genuinely think that it is appropriate for our Prime Minister to attend some pro-Palestine rallies and refuse to actually address the real issues that led to the Bondi shooting, then by all means, please just sit there and do absolutely nothing. But if you believe, like many Australians do, that his position is absolutely untenable and his only reaction, which is to try and take more guns off innocent Aussies who've done absolutely nothing wrong, if you think that is an absolute ridiculous overreaction, then again, please be sure to add your signature to that petition, and let's make sure that 2026 is the year that Albo has to go. Now, speaking of the ridiculous overreaction to the Bondi shooting incident, to just take away more guns off law-abiding citizens rather than actually addressing the proper root issue, just have a listen to what New South Wales Premier Chris Minns is now proposing in New South Wales. Again, here is the article if you want to have a look, and if you or anyone you know is a gun owner, I do suggest you look at that. Australian move to fast-track new gun and protest laws after Bondi shooting draws criticism. Civil rights groups and pro-gun advocates in Australia have raised concerns that new fast-track laws will place undue restrictions on firearms and protests in the wake of the Bondi shootings. On Monday, the Australian state of New South Wales recalled its parliament to draft a raft of new laws, such as banning the phrase "globalise the intifada," limiting the number of guns one person can own, and greater police powers for protests. New South Wales Premier Chris Minns said some may feel changes had gone too far, but they were needed to keep the community safe. Ah, yes, that old chestnut. Let's see how well that worked. A pro-gun politician said the laws unfairly target law-abiding gun owners, while civil libertarians and restrictions on protests were an affront to democracy. On gun reform, the new laws will mean licence holders in New South Wales cannot own more than 4 firearms, with exceptions for farmers and sports shooters who can have up to 10. Again, these two guys only had 2 firearms each, so what does it matter if you can only have 4 firearms? It would have made no difference whatsoever in the actual Bondi shooting. The move follows similar laws introduced in Western Australia earlier this year to cap gun ownership. Elsewhere across the country, There are no limits. Other gun law changes include more regular renewals for gun licence holders from every 5 years to every 2 years, and a review of the type of firearms available to most gun owners. Mark Banasiak from the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party, which lobbies for more relaxed gun laws, says the state's 260,000 gun licence holders were being punished and made as a scapegoat for agency failings. Absolutely. 260,000 people are now being penalised for the actions of 2 people. How ridiculous. We're diverting away from what the real problem is, he said, referring to a climate of hate and division that's been allowed to fester for 2.5 years because government haven't done enough to stop that. Hello, it's pretty simple. It's pretty obvious what they are trying to do here. I mean, this whole idea, this whole concept is ridiculous as saying, oh, look, let's restrict motorists to a maximum of 4 cars and have licence testing every 2 years because a couple of idiots decided to drive drunk and kill a few people. Okay? Again, we need to focus on the people who are the problem, or not the items and the objects that they are using to inflict the pain and suffering on others. I mean, most firearms owners, again, licensed firearm owners, let me make that clear, have already had to jump through endless red tape to actually get their firearms license in the first place. And once they have obtained that, they use them responsibly without any issue whatsoever. Yes, of course, there will be some idiots who choose to do the wrong thing. But again, just go and look at that, machete bin madness in Victoria a few months ago. The criminals still have the machetes. They're still using them to attack people and still using them to break into their homes. So it's not the machetes that are the problem, it's the people who are holding them. So again, let's start targeting the people that are the cause of the problem, not the objects and the items themselves. Now, speaking of Victoria, I reported on my last video update that Daniel Andrews had been admitted to hospital, and some sources were saying that he may have had a stroke. Now, it was reported on a number of mainstream media outlets, and I said on my last video that I certainly hope that he wasn't going to be using that as an excuse to delay the filing of his defence in the Bike Boy case, which has already been dragging on for far too long for Ryan and his family. So once I got through all of my Christmas Day commitments, and as I started thinking about what I was going to cover on tonight's final video for the year, I started looking into or looking for information regarding whether Andrews had actually filed his defence as the court ordered that he do by the 19th of December. Now, I looked online, I tried Google, I even used ChatGPT, and I couldn't find anything confirming whether he had filed or not. Now, I thought that was very strange because I figured that either way, whether he did file or didn't file, I mean, surely the media would be on top of such a major story. So I figured all I could really do was just go straight to the source. So I logged in, I created an account and logged into the ComCourt website, and anybody can do this. You can do this right now as you're watching this, or replay this and follow the steps that I'm about to explain. So just go to the ComCourt, so it's comcourt.gov.au. And after a little bit of hunting, I found the case. Now, just a little bit of a tip, you need to type in the full name. So it's Luke Muleman. You need to type the full name in and you'll find the case. Otherwise, to make it simple, you can just type in the case number, which is V for Victor, ID for ID, so VID 1454/2025, and that might make your search a bit easier. So you can then click on the list of orders and you'll find the latest order that the court made, which of course, as I said before, was that Andrews filed his defence by the 19th of December 2025, so just a week or so ago. And then, of course, Ryan had until the 6th of February to file any reply. So that is the actual order. You can see the federal court stamp there. You can see the details of the parties, and you can see the copy of the actual order right there. So again, that is straight off that ComCourt website. So nothing to hide there. Anyone can go and do that search and find it. So you can also find that page. There's a little link. It's in red. It's called miscellaneous. And then you can look up all the court events and documents, including all the documents that have been filed. So then you'll come up to a page that looks like this. And of course, this doesn't print out, perfectly. But the important thing to have a look at is these dates right here. Okay, and these are the dates of any documents that have been filed. So you'll see on the 4th of November, the Muleymans filed the originating application. Same date was the applicant's genuine step statement. Same date was the statement of claim. Then on the 24th of November was the notice of address for service for Daniel Andrews. But you'll note there have been no other documents filed. Now, this is a Commonwealth Government page, so it is required to be up to date at all times. And you'll see that nothing has actually been filed. So, the court has clearly ordered that Daniel Andrews file his defence by the 19th of December, and according to that court website, which I just showed you, and you can go and confirm for yourselves, those documents do appear as though they have not been filed. There are also no orders for an adjournment or for an extension of time in which Andrews can file that defence. So what on earth is going on there? I mean, we've all seen the insane number of things that Daniel Andrews has gotten away with over the years, but can he really get away with defying a federal court ruling? Now, equally as important, at least in my mind, is why has the media been completely silent about this seemingly major issue? They were all over the fact that he'd been admitted to hospital, but they'd mentioned nothing despite 9 days passing since the date that he was supposed to file that defence. I mean, surely the fact that Daniel Andrews has not complied with a federal court order in such a high-profile case should be front-page news. I mean, especially here in Victoria. But instead, you know what? There's crickets. Absolutely nothing. Nothing in the mainstream media at all. So my question is, does Daniel Andrews really have that much power that he can defy the courts and silence the media? Really? Well, let's find out, shall we? I am hereby standing here calling out the Australian mainstream media publicly and asking them why they haven't reported on this important fact. I'm calling Daniel Andrews out again publicly, asking him why he has defied a court order and either failed or refused to file his defence within the timeframe stipulated by the court. Or, if by some circumstance he has, then I'm calling the federal court out for not updating their website. Either way, someone, somewhere, has some serious explaining to do. Now, I urge all of you to please ask the same tough questions. Let's see what sort of response we get. Could this finally be the point in time, where Daniel Andrews is actually held to account and cannot escape? Okay, let's certainly hope so. Now, on that point, I urge you all to please check out the bikeboy.com.au website that has all the latest updates on the whole Bike Boy scandal, and you'll also find on that same page the Bike Boy True Crime Bike Boy True Crime podcast, which comes out on the 7th of January. So what's that, a week and a half or so from now, which of course is coincidentally the 13th anniversary of the crash. And that whole podcast series includes an actual proper forensic examination of the crash in a 6-part series. Now, just the trailer alone for that podcast has been downloaded over 250,000 times. So clearly there are a lot of people that want to see Dan Andrews held to account. So please watch this space and expect more updates and developments as we head into 2026. And again, as always, you'll find a link in the comments section if you're watching this on Facebook, or again in the description if you're watching this on our other social media platforms. Now, speaking of 2026, As I said at the beginning of this year, way back in January, the powers that be are going to be pushing harder than ever before to try and discredit and close down groups such as us who are sharing the truth on social media. So please be sure to go to our website, download, copy and save any and all information from our website that you want ongoing access to, just in case anything happens. Okay, we've already seen all the stories this year about so-called sovereign citizens and all the rest of the rubbish, and we're already aware of similar stories that they are planning already to run early next year. So again, just be aware of the agenda and be sure to push back against it at every opportunity. And one last thing before I finish up tonight, speaking of pushing back, okay, a very quick reminder that both the Aussie Speeding Fines guys and the Bank Secrets Revealed group are both running a very special 20% off Christmas promotion at the moment, and to help as many people as possible, they have decided to run that promotion right through until midnight on New Year's Eve. So, firstly, if you want to learn the tried, tested and proven system, okay, for fighting back against all manner of unjust and unlawful fines, whether that's speeding fines, parking fines, red light camera fines, seatbelt fines, mobile camera fines, all of it, be sure to grab, okay, that Aussie Speeding Fines book and go straight to chapter 3 and make use of that tried, tested and proven 3-step process, okay, for beating all of those fines. As always, you'll find a link in the comments and in the description. And again, just be sure to enter the word Christmas into the coupon code box that comes up on the checkout page to get that extra 20% discount. Now, secondly, if you want to learn, okay, the truth about the fraud that the banks commit every single time that they engage in a home loan, as well as learn how to successfully write off or discharge, whatever you want to call it, okay, any unsecured loans, that's a personal loan, credit card, anything like that, then again, please be sure to grab that Bank Secrets Revealed book, and again, use that tried, tested and proven 4-step process, okay, for discharging those loans. I covered on a recent video a testimonial from a lady who wrote off a $21,000 credit card debt and even had a default removed from her credit file because of the information in that book. Again, it's super, super powerful. And again, if you go to the website, you'll find a link in the description and in the comments. Just enter that word Christmas to get that extra 20% off. All right, so finally, I've got just a couple of memes. I had some problems with the printer that I was using to prepare tonight's video, so I've just got a couple tonight. First and foremost, unfortunately, I know many of you wished for this for Christmas. Sadly, it didn't happen, but hey, you never know. It could still happen in the future. As I said, Albo's looking increasingly likely that he might have to resign or get ousted. And Daniel Andrews defying federal court orders is not a good look. So who knows, fingers crossed, it might happen in 2026. And finally, I'm going to leave you with this one in regards to the mainstream media. And I'll read that out for you because it's a weird size tonight. And it says, if mainstream science was true, then anti-vaxxers would be dead. All the glaciers would have melted. Fresh water would have run out. There wouldn't be any more oil. Sunscreen users wouldn't get cancer. Vaccinated people wouldn't get sick. Humans would be extinct by now. Billionaires wouldn't buy on seashores. Don't buy into their science. They all have an evil agenda. So please do keep that in mind, because unfortunately it's not just going to magically stop overnight. They are going to roll on with that into 2026. They are going to continue with their various agendas, and that is why I will keep doing these videos week in and week out. That's why we're going to keep running our radio shows every fortnight. That's why we're looking at a new webinar series for next year as well, because we want to do everything that we can do to help wake people up to the truth, to inform and educate people on how to stand up for their rights and how to push back, so that we can stop these agendas, hopefully, from playing out and truly, genuinely make this country a better place to live in. So I'm going to leave things there for tonight. As always, I do urge you all to make use of all of the various resources that are available to you to please get informed, get fired up, and get proactive. To that end, these videos, of course, are completely free to watch. You'll find them on our BitChute channel, on our YouTube channel, and under the Reels tab on our Facebook page. Of course, there's plenty of free information on our website and on the other websites that we recommend. Our radio shows, of course, are completely free to listen to between 8 and 10 p.m. every Tuesday night. Every second week's a live show. Then we replay a previous show. Again, obviously, with the Christmas break, there's no live show next Tuesday, but we will be replaying a previous show. And fingers crossed, if New Year's Eve goes to plan and I recover in time, I will be back on the evening of a New Year's Day with the first live video update for 2026. Now, of course, if you want to go above and beyond what we cover in these live video updates and in those radio shows, then I do urge you to grab a copy of our Know Your Rights book, the essential step-by-step manual for understanding and exercising your rights. I mentioned, of course, before that Aussie speeding fines book for successfully challenging all manner of unjust and unlawful fines. And, of course, that bank secrets book, because a lot of people are doing it tough financially. So please stop throwing good money after bad at your credit cards and personal loans when you can just write them off or discharge them very, very easily with their process. Now, again, you can buy these individually. There's links in the description. You can buy them all together as part of the combo pack. Save a little bit of extra money by doing that. Of course, you do also get our tote bag included as a little bonus, no extra charge. We do, of course, have our caps and beanies available. Obviously, the warmer weather is well and truly with us now for summer, so grab those caps. People see the logo, they come up, they have a chat. It is a great way to meet like-minded people. And finally, obviously, we have put all of our live events on hold for now, but we do have our home study course, which is a complete recording of one of our 2.5-day live events. There's 3 custom-made workbooks where you can write notes next to every slide from every single presentation. There's 17 DVDs that you can put in, pause, rewind, fast forward in the comfort of your own home at your own pace. The Christmas New Year break is a perfect time to take advantage of that. So again, you'll find a link in the comments and in the description. So other than that, I want to wish you all a very, very happy New Year. I hope you get to spend some time and celebrate with friends and family on New Year's Eve. And I will, of course, all things being equal, be back, as I said, on the evening of New Year's Day for our next live video update. Don't forget to take advantage of those Aussie speeding fines and bank secrets promotions, and we will see you all again in 2026. Take care.